I just pulled off one of the best brand deals I have ever been able to pull on YouTube. In this video today, I want to discuss how I was able to pull that off in the first place, and I want to cover some of the bases as far as how you can make yourself valuable to a brand regardless of your subscriber count, sometimes even regardless of your views and, you know, some of those other vanity metrics that everybody likes to judge you on YouTube. It is not the way that you need to be defining what it is that you do. Before I jump into how I pulled that off, I first need to discuss how to properly integrate an advertisement or a earned in ad or user generated content, whatever it is that you are making. Well, you need to be intentional about what it is that you are providing in return for the money that you expect to get from them. I'll get to that in just a moment, but before we do, let's hear a word from today's video sponsor. Very special thank you to the sponsor of today's video, and that is going to be none other than, well, actually it's nobody. We don't have a sponsor for today's video. Nobody's paying me for anything. I pulled some Streamyard gear out of the closet in order to make a point about how it is you need to be providing value for the people that you want to get to sponsor your video. Funny little side note about that whole thing. Have you ever noticed how when you're watching a YouTube video and somebody does an ad sponsorship or an ad integration into one of their videos, their shirt changes? The reason for that is the way that YouTubers are going about doing their ad integrations. I want to talk about that before we continue on with the rest of this, because it's worth noting that, well, I am not a firm believer in that being a very good way to go about doing an ad integration. The reason that they do that is because an advertiser is going to want final approval over what is going to be shown in the video before it's released. But they often don't care about the content of the video so much. They just want their advertising to be shown on that video. They want to make sure that it is being presented properly on your content. Sometimes a creator will make an advertisement while they're in the process of filming their video, but if they go hand that over to the advertiser and then it takes the advertisers 7 days in order to review their portion of that video, and then it gets sent back to the creator and they have to refilm and re-edit that section of the video and then send it back, and it may be another 7 days before they get final approval as to whether or not this video can be shown. The reason their t-shirts change or their facial hair or whatever the case may be is because what a YouTube creator will do is go and pre-film the actual advertisement for the sponsor, and they will return that to them, and while they're waiting on the advertiser to figure out whether or not there needs to be any revisions or adjustments to that ad, the creator is over here making the actual video or maybe even working on the next project. When they finally get approval for the ad that they have filmed, then they can just implement that into any video that they want. It's great for your content schedule to do it that way, but it's also very disconnected. Oftentimes, the ad integration itself just doesn't really feel natural. It feels like it's a burned-in advertisement for a company. And the most important thing that you can offer to an advertiser is conversion. Disconnected ad like that is not going to convert as many people as if you were to provide insight into a product that is valuable for the viewer. For example, if you're watching this video, you probably are making YouTube videos and you're looking for some insight and information as to how to do that. Maybe you have dabbled in live streams, and it is entirely possible that a company like Streamyard may provide a product that is valuable to you. You can do the burned-in effect. It is obviously great for your content production style. However, I do prefer a more organic and real and genuine presentation of a product for the viewers, because at the end of the day, this all needs to be about the viewing experience, and you need to be providing resources that they're going to find beneficial. Also, I love you, Streamyard. Please sponsor me. This brings me to a second point that I'd like to talk about regarding ad integrations and sponsorships for your channel. One of the things you really need to put a focus on, how you are going to present the value to the sponsor in order to sell them on working with you. You are going to need ad material and a press kit and all of the literature that is needed in order to try to sell a sponsor. Problem is that a lot of this is going to go over their head, and they're going to be looking at you for your subscriber count and how many views you're getting, and some pretty rudimentary, fundamentally vanity metrics. If you're a smaller channel, those are probably not the things that you want to be judged by. I personally do not want to be paid for an ad integration on this channel based on the fact that I have 30-something subscribers on it. I want to be paid for the quality of content and the value that I can provide for that sponsor. How do I go about showing the sponsor that I'm the guy that they need to be paying money to? Well, I'm not going to show them my subscriber count, and I'm not going to show them the view count, and they aren't going to understand any of the things that I have to say about SEO. That's been a difficult one for me because I'm really good at SEO, but how do I go about explaining that to an advertiser? One very quick and easy and effective way to go about showing an advertiser how valuable you are is to put your money where your mouth is. For example, if you want to get sponsored by a company like Streamyard, then show them how good of a person you can be representing their product. Yes, this whole skit that I'm doing in this video today, it is free advertising for them. But you know what? Streamyard has been a very good product for me. I've enjoyed using it. So I don't mind providing that value, especially if in some way this can be used as a means of convincing these guys that I need to be one of their guys. Seriously, I am exhausted switching back and forth between shirts. I'm literally doing that every take, just going and changing shirts behind the camera. I am not going to be going to VidSummit for TubeBuddy, but I really want to go to VidSummit. So I put a call out there to a company called Creative Fuel. They are a new up-and-coming company. Their software generates ideas for you to come up with title, ideas for your videos, ideas for coming up with videos for your channel, things that you need to be filming based on what has been successful on your channel as well as other people's channels. I am a big fan, and they aren't very big yet. That is an opportunity for me. I might not have a lot of subscribers, and I might not have a big following on social media or anything like that, but I do have a fundamental understanding of how YouTube works, and I know all of these guys at these conferences. So the very first thing that I did was get into the Creative Fuel software and everything that they offer, and I jumped right in and I mastered it. I want to be the resource for that software. I want to be the guy where if anybody has any questions, they come to me. Then I went to that company and said, hey, I love your software. I see that you are competing for space in this industry. I've mastered your software and I know this industry. You need to send me to VidSummit. Then they actually agreed to it. I didn't expect that. I'll be completely honest with you. I am so accustomed to getting shot down on these brand deals because I send them out about once a week and I'm always swinging for the fences. And this time I got a home run with them. There is the added value in knowing how to use this software to help me on my own YouTube channel. That's been pretty awesome too. You should check them out. I will have a link in the description down below for all of these guys. Creative Fuel, TubeBuddy, Streamyard, you name it. Check them out. They're all worth it, I promise. And that is how I went about landing a really good brand deal. I found a company who was competing for space, mastered their software. I presented myself as a resource that would be very valuable at the conference for them, and they ran with it. Now, to be completely honest with you, I am not the foremost authority on brand sponsorships and ad integrations and user-generated content and all of that stuff. There are going to be some holes and some information that needs to be filled in after watching this video. Ironically, one of my buddies from the conferences, Roberto Blake, just did a deep dive video about this specific topic, and you ought to check that out. I've got a link to his video that's going to be right there, and of course, check out all of the videos that I'm doing on this channel because we're having a lot of fun learning and just kind of doing the natural process and talking about all of this YouTube stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.